Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Founders Grid, sponsored by Gaper.io. Today, we have Anita. Anita is a marketing expert and is working with multiple startups, and she has an expertise when it comes down to tech marketing for B2B. Anita, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great that you invited me. I'm super excited about this conversation.
So, where are you from?
Oh, this question. Okay. Well, originally I'm from Europe, Eastern Europe to be exact, from both Belarus and Poland. 50-50 cannot decide. I'm happy to call these countries my motherlands. But I'm living in USA, DC area, and that's quite chilly here already.
Got it. So, tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do? If you can tell the audience what you do.
Sure, I'm in tech. I'm in marketing specifically, and I do have linguistic and intercultural communications background. I've always believed in power of word and the right messaging, so it quite determined my path from that point. And I'm super passionate about technology, and I truly believe in product that solves real life problems or real business problems. But I also believe that no matter how brilliant your product is, if nobody knows about this product, you will not achieve any result. So nobody will simply buy it. So that's why my lifetime mission has been that marketing guide who maps the right products with the right audiences. And, I love considering myself almost a matchmaker, finding the perfect product for the perfect audience, and just getting them together to live happily ever after.
I get that. I get that. No, matchmaking, I get that because at Gaper, we also go around, we're the kind of like the matchmakers for software engineers and startups. It's a good job. It's a very interesting thing to do. So if someone asks me, you go like, what do you do? I go like, we're the Tinder for software engineers and startups. So this is, it's a fun thing. So yeah, for the COVID, I believe during the COVID, you started working with multiple startups. Do you want to enlighten more on that?
Sure. I actually joined a great company called Lease Accelerator. That's not quite a startup, but this company does have a startup environment, truly. We're producing so much materials during the week that I could not imagine some teams might be producing it throughout the 6 months period, but we are done in a weekly basis. And I do also consult a lot of startups. Right now, I feel that businesses during the hardest times, they are finding their inner motivation and they're simply trying to develop some things. And finally, people, since they're working from home, they start finding that ideas that they always wanted to make real but never had time for it. And so remote working helped. They finally found their passions and they're reaching out to me for their initial marketing strategy or for their pitch decks or sometimes even for their public speaking classes a bit because again, there is nothing more powerful than a great speech. It can persuade and talk over anything. So if you're speaking well and if you know what buttons to push, you will always succeed.
So true, so true. So, unfortunate times because of COVID, and the whole world is going through a rethinking process, and remote working has kind of like been the most catalyst behind it. So, but being marketing individual, like I look after marketing and sales in my company, you're extroverts by nature. You get your energy from the people and everything, right? So once the vaccine is out and once we're past this COVID phase, would you want to go back to office and work from office, or would you prefer working from home?
Well, I would say, first of all, I'm a huge advocate for remote working.
Yeah.
But remote work does not necessarily mean work from home. And that is a concept which might be very much like misunderstood right now during the pandemic times because we're in lockdown. We are sitting at homes. Literally, we have no mobility and absolutely no even opportunity to go somewhere else to work, right? So I totally get all these people who are sick and tired of looking at the same walls and like hiding from their 1001 things that can distract them potentially at home, right? But once it's this is a trend, right? So companies were super cautious about letting their employees even like out of the office. Now they have to. And trust is something they have to give and grant to their employees, right? To
Yeah.
work remotely. So I feel this trend will be only evolving. I mean, we are no way we're coming back. Like too many people like felt this taste of like this flexibility of working from home or remotely, wherever. Even working from garden is considered working remote, right? So that's something that I feel many people will just they will not be able to give back. You know, they just want to own it. They want to have it. They know how to work smart, not hard, and they know how to find this time manager in themselves to make sure that you know you're able to do all these things. Meanwhile, you don't have to stick to particular place.
Got it. Got it. Interesting. Interesting. But then what happens to creativity? You know, the energy, the creativity, is that something that can be done remotely? And what happened to the one pizza rule? You know, having a team of brainstorming on ideas, coming up with creative ideas. Do you think that's still possible? Would that be possible to come up with outside box thinking?
Well, to me, I started off honestly as a remote employee because to me my career started as a marketing team, as a part of the team that was located in 4 different continents. So for us, like work in the office was not even a thing because we all had different time zones. We all had absolutely different approaches and different locations. So to us, like having a meeting at 4 a.m. or having a brainstorm somewhere at night was quite a usual thing. And I must say that right now, yeah, maybe whiteboard concept is still not fully gone, but everything is inside your head.
Yeah.
Like your mind is the most powerful thing. So the company actually does not hire you for your body. The company hires you for your brain, right? And you
Yeah.
can spread out your thoughts even while you're telecommuting. You know, you don't have to sit in a particular room in order to be creative. You know, you can use the same like whiteboard at your place, or you can use, you know, tons of tools which are
Vision
super
app,
tools like
Notion, there
whiteboard,
are,
you
yeah,
know.
there are multiple
Yeah.
tools.
So this is, I truly believe so. But I also believe in, of course, human interaction. But just right now, it's tricky times. But you can always have some online happy hours, you know?
Yeah, I have too many of those, just tired of them. But okay, what about the productivity hacks? You know, keep maintaining a work-life balance. You know, because Zoom itself for some is becoming overwhelming, right? So the productivity. What are the top three productivity hacks that you've adapted in your life during the COVID?
Well, I think like since the pandemic started, people start having the new term, which is Zoom anxiety or Zoom tiredness, you know, if you call it so. Oh my goodness. If you have like meetings from 9 to 6, it's like when are you gonna have like actual work done, right? So everything should be about the efficiency. So I believe that Zoom calls are only necessary for the meetings which are 30 minutes or longer. And I do not think that any meeting should exceed 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So having an agenda for each meeting you have is a big productivity tip from me. You know, I'm always having agenda. I'm always having 5 minutes discussion for each item. And if item exceeds 5 minutes of discussion, then it's a different discussion for different people and the entire team should not be on that meeting. So this is the key. Like if you feel that this meeting is not for you, or if you feel that your part of the meeting is only like at the beginning or at the end, you don't have to sit and like listen to all the people, even though you need to be in the loop of the things. But you should be connected to your part. And sometimes this like information, it's not too useful for, first of all, clarity of your brain and sanity of your mind, you know. That's super important. And second thing, and it's like more related to procrastination rather than productivity. You know, we all had these tasks that we always just try to put off as long as possible. And then we're just staring at this like ticket, or we're staring at this task in our whatever we use, some program or some even notebook sometimes, and we just can't start. So I'm always saying to myself and to everybody, just sit and try to work for 5 minutes on this task. And I guarantee that after 5 minutes, you will not want to give up. You will be able to finish it. Starting is like literally 90% of all the, of all the
Delivery.
efforts. Yeah, so
Right.
this step is the most important. So this is the golden piece of advice I was once given, and I'm always using it. So those are probably my top two productivity tips which I'm using on daily basis. But number one will always be reduce your meetings. Like, just cut the number of them. You don't need to present at all of the meetings.
God, interesting, interesting. So last question, in terms of, since you have an extensive experience for marketing, right? So what advice would you give to young founders, especially early stage companies that don't have a lot of resources? So when they want to come up with their marketing strategies, where to start, where not to start, because if you look at it, they're like tens of different platforms, from Reddit to Twitter to LinkedIn to Facebook, and they can just get overwhelmed, overstretched, because they have to round raise, they have to make the company and everything. So what advice would you give them how to go about it? Should they do it in-house, hire expert consultants, and I don't know.
Sure. Well, oh my goodness, I've been I've been talking about this for all the time. Well, number one advice, I'm asking this question to every single person who comes to me. I'm asking one simple question. Like, in one sentence, describe to me what is your startup about? Just one sentence. And most startups that came to me in the past like 3 years, they're saying we are Uber of blah blah, like banking, finance. And I'm saying, oh my goodness, you are killing me. You are not Uber. Uber itself is just Uber, and you're not changing the world. Who are you building your product for? Who is your core audience? Understanding your audience is always the number one thing, because you cannot build the product for you. You are building the product to cover some particular pain. So focusing on this pain and focusing on your actual customer and end user, that's number one what you should do, because there are always some talks about cool technologies to use, about cool nice design tricks, and I'm always saying minimal valuable product and your audience, two things, and you're successful. That's literally, and most people unfortunately do not see it as a number one priority, understanding the audience. They're just thinking that, okay, at the last stage we'll just map the right people with our obviously awesome product that changes the world and solves all the problems in it. But at the end of the day, I have to literally like find these small pieces of audience scattered around the world and trying to like build this strategy around that. So no, the end user is in the center of the universe of any product. And the second piece of advice, which I probably give, and it's more related to the team. So there are always two types of startups, right? One is team driven, another one is product driven. So one team driven startup has the core team with a record of success. So this team of the same people establishes one startup after another, and they are all successful because of this team. And another one is a product driven, where you don't necessarily have 5 software geniuses working for you in the garage at nights. You don't have such a super friends who are ready to do it for you, but you have a cool idea and probably some funding, or probably you would like to get some funding from somewhere, and you know that your idea will work because you are aware of the pain and you know how to solve this pain. And gathering the team of professionals with the right skill sets works for such startups. So those startups are, more product driven because the team is gathered specifically to build this product. And I'm sure that your company solves this problem very nicely.
Yeah, this is interesting. Interesting. No, interesting thoughts. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure we could have spoken for another half an hour, but my marketing team, they put a hard stop at 12 to 13 minutes, so I don't want to cut the podcast in the middle of it. So we want to bid you farewell. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and stay safe.
Thank you so much. It was great pleasure.